Welcome back to another explainer. All right, today we're heading straight underground. We're going to explore a hidden, highly active ecosystem that you probably walk right over every single day without a second thought. We are looking at the invisible world of Brownsburg, Indiana's residential plumbing. Because beneath the manicured lawns and those peaceful neighborhood streets, there are immense environmental and geological forces quietly waging a constant battle against your home's infrastructure. If you're a homeowner, or honestly just someone who loves understanding how things work under the surface, you are absolutely going to find this fascinating. Let's get into it.
So here's the game plan for today. We'll start with Brownsburg's unique plumbing challenges, then move into spotting common household symptoms. After that, we'll cover plumbing codes and compliance, and finally wrap up with the professional repair process.
All right, Section 1, Brownsburg's unique plumbing challenges.
Ever wonder exactly what invisible adversaries are constantly testing the limits of local homes? It's not just random wear and tear. It's literally geography. The source material outlines what we can call the Hendricks County trifecta. These are three specific environmental factors constantly stressing residential plumbing. First up, the area sits on clay-heavy soil. Now, this expansive clay acts just like a sponge. It swells up with spring moisture and then shrinks right back down during those dry summers. This physically shifts and stresses buried pipes. Second, we've got notoriously hard municipal water. It's loaded with minerals that slowly build up inside pipes and water heaters over time. And third, aging infrastructure that's simply reaching the end of its natural lifespan. Put these three together, and you've got a perfect storm for your plumbing system.
Now, these exact challenges are actually hyper-localized depending on exactly where your house sits. Let's map this out. If you live in the established neighborhoods near downtown or Arbuckle Acres, your main enemy is inside-out corrosion of older galvanized steel pipes. But if you're out in the newer subdivisions, say near Ronald Reagan Parkway or County Road 1000 North, it's a different story. There, foundation settlement and those shifting clay soils are what's stressing your modern connections. Meanwhile, properties down near White Lick Creek face a totally different battle. High water tables there force basement sump pumps to work overtime, especially during heavy rains. So the environment completely dictates the plumbing problem.
There's a really crucial number for local homeowners to keep in mind, and that number is 40. See, a lot of the homes in Brownsburg, especially the ones built during the rapid growth periods of the 1970s and 80s, used copper piping. Well, copper piping has a generally expected service life of about 40 years. And guess what? We are hitting that exact limit right now. This number acts as a major wake-up call. If your home's pipes are hitting the big 4-0, you're entering a window where pinhole leaks and corrosion become not just possible, but highly probable.
Moving on to Section 2. Spotting common household symptoms. Okay, so we know what these geological and environmental forces are doing underground, but how do they actually manifest inside the walls of your house, as visible, frustrating symptoms? Let's start with a highly specific and, let's be honest, pretty jarring question that a lot of local homeowners find themselves suddenly asking. Why does my water smell like sulfur? Seriously, if you've ever turned on your tap or stepped into the shower and just been hit with that distinct odor of rotten eggs, it's definitely a symptom that demands an answer.
Our sources point out a pretty fascinating scientific reason for this. That rotten egg odor is actually hydrogen sulfide. It's a gas created by bacteria that absolutely thrive in the warm, dark environments of water heaters or well systems. Now, how do you defeat this microscopic enemy? Well, the solution is wonderfully simple. You just raise your water heater temperature to 140 degrees. This specific heat level essentially neutralizes the bacteria, stopping the gas production entirely and clearing up your water. It's an easy, empowering fix to a very alarming symptom.
Here's another symptom you might spot: constantly low water pressure. Now, remember that trifecta we talked about earlier? This brilliantly illustrates the direct cause and effect relationship between Brownsburg's notoriously hard municipal water and your shower's performance. Those high mineral levels in the water don't just pass through harmlessly. They leave deposits inside your pipes and fixtures. Over the years, these crusty white deposits build up, literally narrowing the inside diameter of your pipes. It's effectively choking off your water flow, very much like plaque in an artery. Now, if you experience the ultimate nightmare, a sewer line backup, which, by the way, is incredibly common locally because of tree roots infiltrating that shifting clay soil, here is your strict homeowner survival protocol. Step 1. Stop using all water immediately. Step 2. Do not flush any toilets. You are only going to add to the overflow. Step 3. Document the damage with photos for your insurance company. Step 4. Safely ventilate the space to handle the hazardous odors. And Step 5. Call an emergency plumber right away.
Memorize this sequence because in a backup scenario, literally every second counts to prevent severe property damage.
Which brings us to Section 3, plumbing codes and compliance. So, when these localized environmental symptoms require major intervention, how do professionals combat them? It's really a story of doing it wrong versus doing it right. Take the outdated and unpermitted approach, leaving failing galvanized steel pipes in place, or doing risky, unpermitted DIY water heater swaps. That's a recipe for disaster. Contrast that with the code-compliant gold standard, upgrading to modern, durable materials like PEX, copper, or CPVC, all installed by a professional who has actually pulled the proper permits from the local building department. The contrast is night and day for the safety and integrity of your home. To properly navigate these issues, the Indiana Plumbing Code adopts strict international standards with some state-specific amendments. The state requires plumbing contractors to hold an active Indiana Master Plumber license. And look, this isn't just a piece of paper. It ensures the plumber deeply understands proper pipe sizing, safe funting to prevent sewer gas from entering your home, and backflow prevention. It guarantees the installation is safe, code-compliant, and ready to pass strict municipal inspections. To really hammer home why this matters, listen to this direct quote from our source material. Unpermitted plumbing work discovered during home inspections can delay closings and reduce property values. That is the real-world financial stake right there. Ignoring proper code and permit procedures isn't just dangerous from a health and safety perspective. It can literally tank your home sale down the road. Doing things by the book protects your biggest investment. And finally, Section 4, the professional repair process. Let's look at how local experts, specifically Keystone Plumbing Indianapolis, transparently resolve these complex infrastructure issues. The sources highlight a highly satisfying rule of 3 designed to eliminate homeowner anxiety entirely. Step 1 is the call for fast dispatch, which means getting a technician out quickly, often on the very same day. Step 2 is diagnosis and approval. This is where they pinpoint the root cause and provide upfront written pricing that you have to approve. And step 3 is repair and testing, where they fix the problem with code-compliant materials and verify it works perfectly before they even think about leaving. It's structured, clear, and highly effective.
Let's dive into that second step for a second because the diagnostic advantage here relies heavily on commercial-grade technology. We're talking about high-definition video inspection cameras that go deep into your sewer lines and highly sensitive electronic leak detection tools. Why does this actually matter for you? Well, because it completely removes the guesswork. They don't need to unnecessarily tear open your drywall or dig up your yard just to find the problem. They see it first, explain your options, and give you an upfront fixed price. No surprise hourly rates climbing while you stand there and watch.
So how long does all this actually take? Based on our source data, here are some highly realistic expectations. If you've got an emergency leak or a clogged drain, that typically wraps up in about 2 to 4 hours, and that includes the diagnosis. Replacing a sediment-filled water heater, plan for about 4 to 6 hours. But if you are one of those homes with 40-year-old pipes that finally needs a whole house repiping, you should expect that to take multiple days. Having transparency like this is incredibly helpful for managing your own schedule. Now, what happens after the plumber drives away? You need long-term peace of mind against that relentless Brownsburg environment, right? True warranties are absolutely essential here. A reputable contractor backs their actual workmanship for 1 to 2 years, meaning if the repair fails because of how it was installed, they come right back and fix it for free. On top of that, the manufacturer parts are typically backed anywhere from 1 year to a full lifetime depending on the product. And that is how you properly secure your infrastructure investment. So, as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with one final provocative question to think about. What invisible environmental forces are currently testing the limits of your home's infrastructure? The shifting clay, the hard water buildup, the ticking clock on those 40-year-old pipes, it's all happening right now, silently, right beneath your feet and behind your walls. Don't wait for a catastrophic burst to find out. Take control of your home's hidden world. Thanks so much for joining me on this deep dive into residential plumbing, and as always, keep learning.